All right, we're going to fire up another episode of Road to 5K, but really this series should be called Road to Zero. I'm kidding, but only half kidding, because it's been really, really rough the past week. Playing kind of mediocre and just running really, really bad. I always get annoyed when people talk about running bad because it's super hard to actually figure out and define running bad. And everyone always thinks they're running bad, but I've been getting coolered left and right. Aces and kings have been a terrible hand for me. I wish I was running Hold'em Manager, but I don't have the card catcher set up. Actually, I also don't have HM 2 or 3. So, we're flying blind as far as our overall stats go. You're read, listen, zone anyway, so a HUD doesn't make a difference. But, yeah, aces and kings, and particularly aces, kings, and jacks, for whatever reason, have been bad. I misplayed a couple of them, but yesterday I had aces and kings just run into set after set after set on like boards where you feel pretty good about getting it in. You know you'll be ahead of a decent part of their range, and it's just bam. All right. Gut shot not straight, second not flush draw. It is 3 ways. Probably could have bet a little bigger. Playing 25 NL because it's pretty early in the morning right now. 50 NL pool is tiny. 200 NL pool's tiny, but I wouldn't be playing that anyway. But yeah, the roll's at about 500. Moving in the wrong direction. And yeah, we'll size a little smaller because of his stack. Yeah, it's just been cooler city. It's also, I've been getting into situations both where I have a big draw and where the opponent has a big draw and we get it in. And this guy's stack size makes this kind of annoying. I want to get value, but there's a bunch of 2 pairs available now. I think I'm going to check it back and then call river and bet river if he checks. That is not great. But I've also been just running into like this where it's like 4 straight. I have a strong hand, and they'll turn up with the straight over and over again. I had to fold some sets yesterday. I had situations where I'd turn a set, run into nut straight, they'd hold. So it's been frustrating. It goes back and forth. I mean, a lot of times you'll be the one who's turning the straight when they make a set, but it has not been that way this week. So we'll just keep grinding it out. Like I said, we're playing 25 NL today, which is actually more in line with the bankroll we have online right now. So not really a big issue. Play some hands, probably play a half-hour session here. I played a couple tournaments yesterday. Haven't played an online tournament since Black Friday, so that was fun. Cashed in 1. Was hoping to go deep, so there were 3 tables left, and it folded to me in the small blind. I shoved short stack. Everybody was short, but I shoved a short stack with 2s, got called by ace king, and held until the river. King ball on the river, so not much you can do. He had ace king of spades. He even turned a spade, so he had plenty of outs to get there on the river. So the double up would have put us at an average stack in a very soft field with 3 tables left. I was feeling pretty good about it, but wasn't meant to be. Played a heads up session. I wish I'd recorded. A guy sat down with $15 and just ran it up on me. It took me about an hour to grind it all back. He was a really soft spot. I really, really hate playing guys who sit with $15 because you can't even win $15 from them. Like, if you get it all in and win the very first hand, you're still paying like 50 cents in rake. So, like, your upside is $14. And the downside is what happened, which is he runs pure for 20 minutes and all of a sudden I'm stuck. He's got like a $100 stack off his 15 and I have to grind it all back and pay a bunch of rake. I paid more than $15 in rake just to get it all back. So once the money's out of your bankroll though, it's not yours anymore. So I mean, we were playing for his $100 by that point. We'll 3-bet ace queen. So yeah, I think I've been playing a little loose from the blinds. and I haven't been like 3-bet, 4-betting as much. So last night I was starting to do that, and it was actually working out a little better. Now I booked a huge losing session still, but I think I'm going to give up here. He can float pretty wide and punish us, but I just don't see what we're doing. Got 2 overs. A 5 has us just crushed. A 5 would actually give us a chop at this point. What happened here? We got... Gosh dang it. And I guess we'll fold over here too. So, hitting the cashier button early today. Still salty that there's no auto top off feature, by the way. Like, it actually like rage tilts me that I have to hit buy more chips and then try and get it to sync up with the tables, especially in zone. It's just so annoying. So annoying. But anyway, like I said, we will continue to grind it out one session at a time, try and play smart. That's all you can really ask for. So here's a perfect example. This is a situation, this is where I had been calling some out of the small and big blind, and I'm going to convert to 3-betting or folding king queen. That's great. That's a pretty good turn. Gut shot gets there. But we got top 2, so we can continue to bet. 7's UTG. So, you know, it's kind of just how poker is. If he had a full stack, I might isolate with king 9 here. I'm not going to, though. 7s are pretty vulnerable to any turn, and I think we have the best hand often enough that we can justify c-betting. We get value from flush draws, random ace-high, king-high floats, which people have been doing. And I think I'll bet 2 and check back the river, since we'll still get value from plenty of worse hands. This one we will 3-bet, get it in, obviously. Now 4-5 did get there. Whatever. See if I'll shove the rest of it in. 4-5 got there. Some 2 pairs and stuff were already good. So we'll see. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, timeout. I was going to fold anyway, so that's fine. I think you can do either one. You can bet the turn or check it back. I don't think it's that. It's pretty close. Problem is, if you check back, you kind of feel like you have to call non-diamond rivers big. You also like give free cards. He wouldn't check raise with worse than 2 pair. Like, I don't think you'd take that line unless you had a set or 2 pair. 2 pairs are hard on that board, though. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I could check it back, call river. See, if you check it back, do you have to call any river or any non-diamond river? I've been getting pretty decent value. These guys are pretty loose, and they'll call down light. So I've been getting decent value with like second pair where it's a bigger pair than the second card on the board. So like in that hand, I can see him calling down with a6. So maybe I tried to get too much value. I don't know. We are playing a little tighter. I think it makes our decisions a little easier. Sweet. Punish the small blind. In position, I just love to punish people with playable hands. If it was suited, it would be even better. And we flop top 2, going for a check raise on this board. We are holding the jack of clubs, which if they have a flush draw, takes one of their outs, also gives us backdoor non-nut flush, but I'm not as worried about that. We'll do a little check raise here, fold the ace-4 offsuit, though I think you could raise it. Yeah, we got 85 cents, okay. Oh, the biggest hand I played. So I wasn't recording because I was four-tabling, listening to music. hand that eventually I was like, all right, I'm done for the night. At 150 big blind, no, 250 big blinds. I have ace queen in the big blind. Button raises, and it almost times out, and I hit call at the last second. Board comes queen, queen, 6. Pretty sweet. Small blind had called pre-flop too. He checks, I check. This guy, the button opener, bets. He calls, I put in a substantial raise, call, call. So I'm like, what's going on? Already starting to have a bad feeling about it. But I get value from every other queen. And I can't remember if there's a flush draw out there or what. Turn is a 9. He checks, I make a bet. Button raises big, and I puke a little bit in my mouth. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. I've been wanting to 3-bet these hands, because now I'm in a spot where it's like, should I just call down? I will bet 2 streets if it goes call. If he raises, I might just fold. Might call if it's not a club. It's pretty drawy. Anyway, long story short, I make just a terrible, really a tilt call, because I've got trips, top kicker. I'm mad that I missed my 3-bet pre-flop, and the turn is a 9, and so I bet like a little over half pot, 2/3 of the pot. We're effective 250 big blinds deep, so this is like reminiscent of me running kings for that 600 big blind pot the other day into aces. Same exact thing. I've got the top of my range. I'm feeling great. Time for a huge pot. He puts in a huge raise on the 9, and I'm thinking, feels like pocket 9s. And I've actually, not that has anything to do with that current hand, but my aces had ran into a set of 9s, or 2 sets of 9s earlier in the day. So I'm like, this is great. So 9s are kind of crushing me here. We'll peel one here. It's not very drawy. I actually think you could just fold. Can you fold though? It's just so weird. I'm just gonna keep the pot small. Aces and kings with an 8. So ace 7, ace deuce just got counterfeited. I don't know if there's any value in betting. That might be so nitty, but I'm gonna check. Yeah, okay. It's just so weird to lead. Might have misplayed one for us. Anyway, long story short, he had queen 9. And I knew I was beat, and I called off the last, a huge shove. Rover shove. Just a tilty. I really haven't been tilting too bad. For as bad as I've been running, it was just, I couldn't believe. There's just nothing I could beat. But I have trips, top kicker, I'm feeling pretty good. And, yeah. I misplayed another hand earlier in the session where I'm going to check this back. I think he could have a queen here. 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not good. 4, 5, 6, 7. I will bet that. And I'll fold this. I don't know why he'd bet a queen here, but he might. I guess. 5, 7. 2 pairs. Ace, queen, king, queen? He did call a 3-bet out of position pre-flop. Whatever. We'll let it go. That would be a good bluff card, but I'm not river bluffing people at 25 NL anymore. I learned my lesson. And he bets 4 times the size of the pot. 3 times? 3.5 times the size of the pot. Yeah, I'd say he has a straight. Or like pocket 9s. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I'm holding a 7. So, yeah, long story short, 500 big blind pot, ace queen, less than queen 9. And if he hadn't hit the 9, I would have gotten paid. I'm not sure how much. I don't think I would have been able to get it all in that deep. Oh gosh, I'm an idiot. I am a grade A moron. This turn better be a 5. That's like the opposite of a good c-bet board. Gosh dang it. Lead. Guess you can just fold turn. Yeah, you're good, buddy. Hopefully he has the jack high flush draw and I just like have to cry. Oh, he did. He had a flush draw. And this was a fold. Should have been a turn fold. Because the only draw he could be bluffing got there. I can't see him betting queen 10, queen 9 like this. Also can't see him betting king queen like this though. Maybe he bluffed me off a chop. Oh boy, I play bad. I think you can just fold the turn. Maybe I should have raised flop. Problem is if I raise flop, he can shove all his flush draws if he's so inclined and I'm folding. He can also, like, if he has it too, he can put me in a bad spot to, like, he flat calls and the turn's a brick and I think I'm protecting against a flush draw or something. I don't know. Rough spot. That's like a good argument for not raising jack queen under the gun, though I will say it was the small blind, so it wouldn't have really mattered. Interesting. All right. This guy's got 10 big blinds. He raises. I've got position on him. He's got 50 big blinds. Oh, this guy might rejam. I'm going to let that go. I wouldn't mind flopping top pair and getting 50 big blinds in against someone. But it's a really awkward spot if it goes. He raises $1, I call. He shoves for 4 more. This guy, let's say he calls. Well, he's probably rejamming. I don't know. All right, 2 playable hands. I guess it doesn't have a ton of money to set mine, and I've got all these guys behind me, so I considered folding. I think this is too strong to just fold. In fact, let's put in a sizable 3-bet and either get away from it pre-flop or take the initiative in the hand. And we flop top. Now we'd still lose to queens. We have a backdoor royal flush draw. Interesting. That could be a good card for us. I think we're committed. I think I'm going to make a committing bet here. I don't see him having a lot of 7s. He has some draws. If he slow played queens, kings, or aces, which they do, then it's kind of unfortunate for us. Now that might give him a chop, or it might be a great card. He might think we're bluffing, but we got the best hand. Unless he has jack 10. Obviously looking for a call here. And he finds a fold. Man, I don't know what he had. I don't know if we were ahead or not. Well, obviously on the river we were ahead. Sometimes they'll play 8s or 9s that way. I think we would have heard from queens, kings, or aces before that. So this looks like a good board for 3s, but we've talked about this before. You end up in this spot where you feel like you have to call a bunch of streets. And I'm fine just set mining. It's a little nitty. Maybe against one player we should 3-bet it, take the initiative. It's just annoying when you get 4-bet out of the pot. You waste a bunch of money and you're like, well, there goes my chance to flop a set. Obviously we'll get it in pre if this guy is so inclined. This guy's got a short stack. We'll be committed. Unless the flop comes like 4, 5, 6 of spades, we'll just be getting it in. And we win the blinds, and we win the blinds. And we wake up with the ladies. So I like 3-betting really light against small blind opens, but queen 3 offsuit is too light. Oh gosh, we were just talking about this. I think we're going to go with a fold or 3-bet, and from an under the gun, at least for today, from an under the gun raise, we'll just let it go. Just, you get into a bunch of spots, and I've been getting into this too, where you flop one pair, like a good, not great, not nut, one pair hand, and it just becomes a situation where you're like trying to figure out, completely readless, whether you should be calling down or not. You almost always pay off at least 2, which makes you want to pay off the third, especially if they size well and they value bet you. So out of position, I think we're going to switch to a strategy of essentially just 3-betting or folding. We will 3x his open. He did make a pretty big open. Ace-queen, I have decided we will just 3-bet pretty much 100% of the time with the intention of 3-bet folding it. And I am actually going to check this back. There's no card that can roll off that is terrible. I'll keep the pot pretty small. Ace-jack beats us now. It's going to be hard for us to get value from any hand. I'm actually worried about ace-jack because ace, oh gosh, it's a, I mean, we're calling. I'm just not sure we can beat anything. We can beat that, weirdo. Guys, you got it. Showdown value and just takes it to the house with 8s. I mean, our intention when we checked back was to call. Almost any run out. But that was I wonder, I guess like maybe he puts us on like jacks that are scared of the ace and he's like, oh, I can bluff them? I don't know. I'm not sure they put that much thought into it in general, to be honest with you. While the gut shot to the nuts on a brick board, we were raised early position, so we're going to try and rep the ace. Or, I mean, honestly, you have the best hand there a lot of the time, so like you're putting out your c-bet, you're not even bluffing. Like they can have 6-7 suited or something. I don't know if there's a 6 or a 7 out there, but you get the point. Guys play bad. They call pre-flop way too loose. Not a perfect board. His stack size is 60 big blinds. Right? Yeah, 15 times 4. That's 60. So put out a little small c-bet. The hooks, they've been terrible to me. I mean, like, insanely bad. So we are going to just get it in pre and see what happens. Because I'm getting tired of trying to play the guessing game on the flop, or like the flop comes 9, 6, 3, and I find out they had pocket 9s. So we take it down. Problem is when you 4-bet and get jammed on, you're, like probably 80% of the time, the best situation is that you're flipping against ace-king, maybe ace-queen. They just don't jam ace-jack that often. And so this is actually a good lesson right here. We flopped top pair, it was min raised, so we were getting a good price, and now we're in a situation where we need to peel one off out of position. We have a backdoor straight flush draw. But I'm going to give up. It's a little weak, but I'm not going to call down 3 streets. You call the turn, you pretty much have to call the river. I think I'm going to give him another opportunity to bluff, or possibly he'll like put on a small bet with ace high. Oh, okay. He had king 7 off. Interesting cutoff min raise. When he checks back, I think we have the best hand, like almost always, so I was a little surprised by that. 100 big blinds deep, we'll peel one off here for a min raise. Same situation. Top pair, bad kicker. Really drawy board, too. So, let's see. That'd be sweet if it was king 7 again. That'd be funny. Just call. I was going to say, don't raise. I want to come along for the ride. So, the 10... Alright, we'll put out a little value bet. Like, maybe he'll call $1 with ace high just to see. King balls. Interesting. Does he have a flush? I think he would continue with a flush, but maybe he didn't want to get blown off of it. Maybe it... Okay, apparently he has nothing. Okay. Kings have been terrible to us. Let's see if we can run into another set here. If he raises, we'll go into check call down mode. Seems weak, but problem is when you jam. So like I think it's pretty clear you don't want to give free cards to draws or like a random ace even. So it's tempting to just like turn around and like jam your overpairs. And I think 10 years ago that would have been great. You'd get called by all sorts of random trash. Problem is these days, now 25NL plays a little softer, but even here, when you put in a huge bet and they call, they're not calling nearly as loosely as they used to. We'll get it all in pre against this guy if he wants to. So when you jam it in, you do get value from like some tens, jack, like slow played jacks, slow played queens every once in a while. But they show you a set so often, and they're aggressive enough that they will bluff. So you blow them off all their bluffs, and you let them essentially play perfectly against you. Like if they're capable of folding nines when you're repping an overpair that you have, you should let them believe that their hand is either the best, or if they're bluffing, that they have a chance to bluff. And if you jam all your money in, they can't. They might fold nines and tens. You've obviously gotten rid of their opportunity to think their hand's best and for them to value bet it. And you've also gotten rid of all their bluffs. So now they're just calling you with their like weird two pairs, their sets, and their huge draws. Now this guy wouldn't have a huge draw on that board, but you get the point. Jack 10 suited's a really beautiful hand. Unfortunately, the guy shoved to close the action, so we had to let it go. This video is already coming up on 30 minutes, so we'll probably play a few more hands and then call it quits. I'm guessing we're up a little bit. I know we had to buy back in a couple times over here, so it might be up like 20, 10, 20, I don't know. Don't really pay attention when I'm playing to where the bankroll's at. What's this? Why won't it let me fold? What is this? Come on, Ignition. Get it together. I didn't hit sit out next hand. What's going on? Pocket fours under the gun. So, I raise every pair from every position if it's unopened, because it's better than open limping. And you get to go to the flop and try to flop a set with the initiative, by the way. I think we'll check it back. We're not getting a 3 to call again. His range is now jacks and 5. I mean, 5's already beat us. We could have gotten a 5 to fold. We're probably never getting a jack to fold. Ugh. He might show us ace high. Ace 7 offsuit. Ace 8. Yep. That's a winner. I've just been firing so many second barrels. It's hard for me to decide which boards I want to do it on. With what hands. These guys, I mean, this is such a profitable game. They check call out of position, ace high with the wrong draw. You know, no backdoor clubs even, I don't think, on that board, so. They get out of line pretty often. Take your time, buddy. Hey, we got a quarter. All right. We can sit out. And all right. So that was a half-hour session. Nothing too crazy. Started off rough. I think we made a couple mistakes. I think we played okay overall. Let's see where the roll's at once it refreshes. It takes a while to get your tables back. This is so the main problems I have with Ignition, don't get me wrong, I'm really happy they provide a client that's US facing. But man, it's buggy. It just won't update. It takes forever. I mean, back in 2006, 2007, when you were playing on full tilt, you could see your balance live. There was no refreshing, trying to figure out where you're at. It was all just instantaneous. Like, you fold your big blind and it would show up in your balance. So that's annoying. You buy in and then buy out, and you have to keep track of where it's at. So we're at 566, moved slightly in the right direction this session, which is good. A welcome win. Might play some tournaments today. Sunday's usually a big tournament day. We got some, what we got? No Limit Hold'em Super Knockout. $73 to first place. Wow. 26 are left. 9 of them pay. It's just not very tempting to try and grind it out for 73. So, I don't know. We'll play some more today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Leave your comments below.